Welcome again back to Written Wednesday. And there's silence in the chat. So hopefully, if they get here before the stream decides to die and Picarto goes back to old tricks, I can get a little bit of writing done in the interim. Maybe a swoosh will appear. Maybe I'll stop looking at the little me in OBS since I have that open currently and I have the attention span of a grapefruit. Who knows? However, until they show up, the floor is ours, and I hope everyone is having a good day and has been holding up well during this whole corona pandemic. I know it's not easy, excuse me, to be isolated, so it's weird because as a generation we spend most of our times inside or on some sort of device working, especially if you want to become an internet personality and make a career of this. God knows I try with my writing, so it's not on paper different than what we're normally used to, but at the same point in time, just knowing that you can't leave, having the bearing down there of, no, you don't have that choice, no, you can't go to that shop, no, you can't leave, stay indoors, puts an extra psychological weight on it that's just like oppressing and domineering in a sort of way. So with that happy, fun thought out there in the open, let's see if I can't acquaint myself with where we left off. I recently discovered I absolutely love custom fonts. So, since I wanted there to be static here, for like a staticky and broken transmission, instead of writing everything clear, and again, it goes back to my thoughts on accents. I adore accents. The crazier, the wilder, the more busted the English, the better. I love it because it helps me feel immersed. I can hear that character. You have breathed the spark of life into your prose, and I can hear the character's voice at least a little bit better. So I kind of feel the same way with static. When I write a whole line in just normal text and say, she said through garbled static, or just like the ... here's a word, ... here's a word, here's half a word, dash, like, sometimes it's not that difficult to understand them that you're only getting part of it. So I like the kind of glitchy font, so you can kind of hear like the in like the line there. You can hear the voice, it's just got haze and spark to it, and that's something I like. By the end of this book, it's just going to be nothing but custom fonts, and I am going to be completely mad wearing tinfoil underwear duct taped to my ceiling. That's right, Pewdie, ceiling gang's coming for you. And we have cool musical accompaniment, too. And even better, we have the might of Ushram and his girlfriend, who desperately needs a name. I need to think about how to make that into an actual poll on Twitter or something. But we will, and as certain as I am that I'm going to say as another time before the end of the sentence is done, or as certain as I am that she will have a name, so too am I certain that we will make progress tonight. I have not through the week because, again, that weird psychological weight is there and just grinding me into the ground. It's murderous. So where we last left off, they were on the comms, the intra-ship intercom, and they were talking to each other and coordinating for the arrival of the Infinity Drive. Things were just getting ready to go down. Oh, by the way, I had to have it sanitized, of course, but I had a fun outing where, I had to put on my mask to want to go outside because we're living in a zombie apocalypse. I had to put on my gloves because we're living in a poop-covered zombie apocalypse. And I decided that... Oh, and it annoys me, by the way, where I go out there and there's like 70, 80-year-old people or people with like their newborn baby duct taped to their chest. And they just don't have anything over themselves. They just don't have any form of protection against the coronavirus. And they're just out and about doing their deal, getting as close to everybody else as possible. I've seen it too, where they'll try and squeeze past you for shopping reasons, and they'll be like this far from you. You're obviously all kitted out in your please stay back from me, respect my personal space gear, and it doesn't matter, but I amused myself, and of course sterilized it afterward, by taking my custom-made little Time Lord ring with me and putting it over my gloves and just going out and having a Time Lord day. And sadly, no, I wasn't in my normal get-up of just absolutely outlandish fashion choices and decisions that range between Victorian 1950s spaceman and, yes, I am very, very American too, friends. Where's nearest discotheque? I want to bust a move. You know, so it was a plain affair. So I feel like I could have done better there, but I didn't want to have to like bleach and sanitize all my clothes. Oh, that reminds me, my sweater is in the dryer, and I never got it. It's still just in the dryer. My poor sweater. It's probably still not dry, actually, now that I think about it. I only gave it a... Yeah. Oh, I regret doing that. Okay, well, we'll F in the chat for my poor sweater that I have yet to actually go and recover. I'll take care of that at some point after the stream, probably at like, I don't know, 8:30 when the Picarder decides, yep, I'm going to explode. Okay, so we have Ted. Alright, looks like everyone's in position down here. I'm just going to set the emitters for proximity activation to try and keep the strain on them down. Called Ted, only slightly elevated beyond his sleepy tone. All local clusters of internal sensor control nodes on Deck 7 and 8, Sections 4, have failed. Internal power lines are... And it starts getting... And maybe I'll figure out how to add an after effect in the recording and see if my laptop can handle this incredible voice acting. From the top. All local clusters of internal sensor control nodes on Deck 7 and 8, Sections 4, have failed. Internal power lines are signaling excessive power overloads throughout those sections. It is likely that the Infinity Drive's methods of interfacing with our systems are discharging excess energy into them, or it possesses offensive capabilities and is attempting to disable our electrical grid's available countermeasures, Cairo reported as the signal quality turned grainy. How are we looking on backups? Ted called out along the corridor. Secondaries are holding strong, but they're not going to be able to spit out a correct line, please. Secondaries are holding strong, but they're not going to be able to shunt the kind of power we need for very long. One of the engineers engineers. A small smile grows upon the author's face as he sees Frisky Bay, the soap mage herself, enter the chat. Welcome, my magical friend. By the way, I'm sad I have not seen you in Sam's for a while because the world is currently on fire and coughing. So, hi, it's good to see you in the stream. I've been talking a lot to the empty void of YouTube comments that just never come. Cries forever. Celine Dion, take me home. Oh, that ties into the fact, by the way, I have rediscovered my love affair that I've always had since a little kid of the Titanic. I have always, and this is weird, God bless my parents for, not having me institutionalized or committed, but I always had, this fascination, this fixation on shipwrecks. Where, like, I wanted to know everything I could about the ship. Like, by third grade, I was telling the teachers about, like, all the decks and all the layouts and all the compartment positions of the Titanic and the Edmund Fitzgerald. And they're just like, okay, that's nice, but we're doing math. Can you spell things, please? Because in math, you spell things. Mostly disappointment. But, yeah, like, I've recently rediscovered just how interesting and fascinating all that was and how bad I feel. I'd love to do, like, an alternate history video of, like, what if the Titanic made it to New York? Like, if it didn't sink, I know it would never be as popular. And, like, it's a morbid fascination of the shipwreck, but given the fact that people would have survived, I don't care if it wouldn't be a thing in history. The reason it's in history is because it's a tragedy, and, like, I get that. I know it any other time, please let it live. But since it did sink, like, I would like to theorize what would happen, and I assume in an alternate world where it didn't sink, having seen so many beautiful recreations of its interior, I assume it would have gone on. It would have earned herself a nice reputation, and maybe some people of interest. Maybe some celebrities would have decided to go aboard. And then, at some point in time, the Titanic was converted into a medical ship or a hospital ship during one of the world wars and dutifully toughed it out, you know? Out of everything that could have happened. And I'll never know. And it would be a shame, by the way, if, like... And again, this is not a shame in comparison to the gross loss of human life, but it would be a shame to have that thing converted into a medical ship and have all those gorgeous, gorgeous bits of interior taken out and thrown into a pile somewhere. Oh, best case scenario, I would have loved to see it preserved and turned into a museum ship somewhere, but there's no way it would have lasted that long, and two, there's no way it would have lasted that long. I hate the fact that so many of these beautiful ships hit the breaker's yard and feel the unforgiving lash of a workman's torch turning them into soup cans and razor blades. It kills me, but it would be interesting. I'd have to see, like, what kind of actors were about at that point in time, and, like, there's no way you turn it down. Like, the recipe they were serving, like, this was the Edwardian period. This is like Victorian Edwardian, we're old-timey classy people, where they're having 11-course dinners. Frisky, Soap Maiden, my friend, I want you to imagine the cleanup after that. You start dinner at 7, you stop eating at 11 at night, having 12 or 11 courses of food. From, like, the most decadent truffles you can think of to, like, gelatin, nice coffee, leg of lamb, dragon steaks, you know, whatever have you. And I've gone over the recipe, and it, like, the recipes, like the menu, and there's been so many people who've tried to recreate it, and just, oh my God, I can't imagine anybody eating that much. I can't imagine the madman, Edward himself, sitting down and saying, I'm not quite done yet. Can we have another course? Not quite done yet. Do you think we could have, like, 7 more? It boggles the mind. And, oh God, one of my favorite things. I saw this thing. It's like a VR headset tour of the Titanic. I really, really wish I had a VR headset, because I would download that and I'd just be like, whoa. And, like, the thing is, you're a ship inspector or something before the Titanic launched, and you're just going through and looking over things and saying, ah, yes, it's so much more charming than the Olympic. Yeah, holy hell. Yes, Frisky Boy, as the soap magician, you must understand and appreciate the idea of the vast volume of soap that is required for cleanup after this, to bless these plates pure again after 11 courses of every kind of food imaginable. Why would you eat that? I've been on a diet for 3 years. Granted, with cheat days thrown in there, I feel very bad about that. And every time I feel a button strain, I'm like, you great fat fatty, you're screwing up your diet. But even on my most strictest adherences to my diet for the longest of periods, I don't think I'd ever sit down and say, yep, 11 course, at least 12. You know, there is no way that much food can fit in a person. And they have these quaint little vegetarian specials. Oh, I'm worried the dignitaries are going to get fat eating so much. We should throw a few vegetarian dishes in there because that'll help. You know, just course 8, a nice vegetarian salad, a nice veggie roll. Yep, the 7 courses of food. You just control Z if you eat a veggie wrap. That I wish I had. The knowledge that humanity has lost is truly staggering. I never knew there was a control Z for calories, and all I had to do was eat some vegetarian lasagna or something, and then just like, pop. Nope, I am skinniest lad with the whitest of teeth. Oh God, no! Like that. That's a wormhole that's going to drive me insane. I do hope, like I know you'd get lost, but I would love it if they did a version of their 3D thing where like none of the rooms were blocked off. I know it would be like a heavy game to have that much in it with that level of detail. But I'd just be able to love, I'd not be able to love, but I'd just love to be able to just wander through the halls and just yabba-dabba-dub, open that door, there's room there, that's cool. Open door, there's room there, that's cool. Oh, look at the beautiful decorations. I'm asleep here, and there's a sofa. Like, it would be great. Like, Second Life, I bet you, if I ever get a computer that can handle Second Life and doesn't just commit Harry Carey the second I say, log in! Because that actually happened before. I once smoked a hard drive. My friend gave me her laptop, and I sat down to log into Second Life. I got down the Frostfire or whatever stupid program, Flashfire, whatever it is. And she was like, okay, you ready to log in? I'm like, yeah, I'm looking forward to making my character. And I went, boop. And it just went, boop. And the screen stopped working. I heard the fan going. I'm like, well, damn, Colby, this is the strangest thing I ever saw. Does your computer have like a set sleep mode? I can't wake the screen up. Turned it off, turned it back on. Smoke! The computer started smoking! I unplugged that thing from the wall as fast as you could imagine. It was through the little fan as quickly as possible. Had to call on the telephone like a 90s schoolgirl. Just, hello, operator, could I please... Yeah, I know, operator. I have schoolgirl from the 90s and the 40s. Hello, could I speak to Colby? Yeah, hi. Hey, how's the family? How you doing? Your computer set on fire! And that was, I think, the first time I ever tried to get on Second Life. Then I had to remember the password. And after remembering the password for the new computer, I got in for a couple minutes. And then just like, I got down to like 2 frames per second. And it's just like, boy, I love watching a slideshow of my character enjoy Second Life. But, cheeks. But, if I ever get a computer that is just premium enough to load Second Life, I want to go through and see if there is an accurate, beautiful, like high quality recreation of the Titanic. Because I would love to just take an evening stroll through one of the lounge areas or one of the top decks and just wander around and immerse myself in that moment of time. That would be the best thing to ever happen to me. And I'm sure it's out there. And it would have to be high quality too. I don't want like a journey through pixel, low poly 1997 money for nothing music video looking Titanic where, hello Polygon, I assume you're a glass of wine. Delicious. You know, I'd want something that kind of resembles what it looks like. And I'd also like to stop spraying my computer. Hey, how you doing, Gidge? I assume I've been rather loud and your eardrums are bleeding. How are things? The, the game doesn't even open on any of the PCs I have owned. Yeah, it's kind of a heavy game, and with the kind of sums of money people drop into it, you'd figure that like they'd get at least one janitor or one member of staff who could optimize the game so it didn't run like a brick of cheese on a subway. You know, I'd like something. Vid isn't really working for me, Rip, but I have sound. Well, yeah, you have sound. You have sound without even turning on your computer. Just put your ear to the door, and you could probably hear me from outer space. You know, just that's how our rooms are set up, by the way. It's kind of a weird setup, you know. It's my bedroom, a small hallway, literal outer space, small room gidge. I love the spacious interior of my house, though. You know, when you have the entire night sky crammed into a hallway, it really puts things into perspective. Really hard to draw, but perspective. Okay. Yes, it does. Ooh, lovely. I have messages. Oh, awesome. Hang on. We also have... The America is converted and was restored after. What? Who's pinging me in a chat about Yinglets talking about America was converted? This is like some doom stuff right now. What was it converted to? Oh, actually, if we ask pretty much anybody who was born in the 50s, they'd say it's just one wall-to-wall shopping mall, which I can't disagree with. But, bunch of Yinglets. I'm curious what their alternate history take on this is. Okay, so, command deck. Did you catch all that? We're about as ready as we'll ever be and all that. Also, I have been to your work on 5 different occasions. This moth, confirmed here. She rides a giant moth to my store. That's why I love seeing her every month. It's just Mothra from the new Godzilla films, whatever you want to call them. Yes, because we all still use videotapes. They're filmed. Shut up. She just flies in on Mothra, throwing soap to the lucky peasants underneath her. She flies in, hyper beams a few of the clothing racks, takes a small box of Pop-Tarts, runs through automatic checkout, then blows a hole in the ceiling and just ascends up into the heavens. And I just sit there waving, and occasionally I'm lucky enough to talk to her about stupid, terrible puns and anime. And it means the world to me. That thus is the killer life of the soap mage. I don't know why for a second there I almost turned into Sean Connery, the soap mage. But I think I'm just gradually losing all mental facilities and just dominion over my own mouth. At some point, I'm sure that just Google is going to find a way to trademark and copyright your own mouth and larynx and just sell it as ad space. Oh God, what was that one everybody was sponsoring for the longest time? The mental health one that no one looked into and everyone was trying to like hawk and sell and take sponsorship from, and it was really, really sketchy and really, really not good for anyone's mental health. What was that one? What was the one that all the big guys, all the big YouTubers were hawking, except for I think PewDiePie. I think he did it once and then he realized, hey, wait a sec, this ain't so good, and he did a video about it. What was it? Oh, I know it was everywhere for the longest time. It was... Oh, hey, Joey. Oh, I'm going to have to look that up now. Gonna let me turn the power of Google against Google by Googling this thing I want to remember. What was it? YouTube sponsors mental health. No, not YouTube. YouTubers sponsors mental health. What was it? Oh, I'm gonna find it, and it's just gonna kill. BetterHelp. It was BetterHelp, I think it was. What was it? What was yeah? Yep, BetterHelp. That's the one that was everywhere. That's the one. BetterHelp. Or Better Health. BetterHelp or Better Health. I just literally was looking at it and it slipped free from my brain. So whatever I said a minute ago, that. But yeah, no, I remember that. Oh, God. I also remember Head On. That wasn't a sponsor to anybody. That was just an annoying commercial that would fill me with like butt cheek twistingly aggressive rage every time I'd have to deal with the long version of the commercial. Because anybody who knows anything about television, you know ad space, like... Sometimes they'll spring for the long commercial, and that's fun. You have a little adventure. Sometimes they spring for like the really, really teeny tiny little ad space where they just yell, "Oh, buy it!" And then that's the commercial. I remember coming home from school or just sitting during a Star Trek marathon, and you'd hear that perky "Head On, apply directly to the forehead, head on," and like after the short airtime, and you'd hear it still going, and it wouldn't go to like the product information at the end. You're like, "Oh no, I got the long one," and it would just go on for like, I don't know, 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes of "Head On, apply directly to the forehead, head on." I recently heard that product was the complete hogswash and garbage. Like even the stuff they implied and inferred, like they were careful not to imply or say directly much of anything, but like their implication was it was supposed to be this effective headache relief, and it just wasn't. Yeah. I don't mind long commercials if they're funny. For the most part, most of the flow from Progressive commercials I find funny. Like I like the one with the kid where he's like, "Ice machine, make ice. Paper shredder, contact the pizza guy," and you just got the "okay, beep boop" voices in the background, and there's just this distraught father like, "Oh God, what has happened to my son?" And Flo's just sitting there with a cup of coffee going, "I think people are just like that," and like she's just having a day, and like they go through and they do the whole commercial, and the kid's just in the background being like a humongous chunk, or no, what was his name? Sloth from the Goonies, where he's just there with like a VR headset on, going and like just acting like a fool in a spaz, and like the dad's just there like, I have to put this through college, like. The existentialism hidden in that commercial is just like the best thing ever. I love that commercial. And then, oh god, I think it was E-Traders. I forgot what Esurance. Esurance is what it was, with the animated commercials with the lady with the pink hair, and they were all wearing like the black jumpsuits, and I think she had a partner at one point that she'd occasionally meet up with, and they were always fighting robots. I loved the Esurance commercials. They were cool. Is the one with Sonic in it? They had an Esurance they had a Progressive commercial with Oh god, no, okay, no, see, I've handed, sponsor me, please, Progressive. We are of one mind here. I've already converted my chat for you. Please. Please. We've just decided to start talking to it. My favorite Flo commercial is the one with her sister. "Cycling is my passion." Oh, that one kills me. My favorite commercial is the one with Sonic. Yeah, okay. You're going to have to link that to me later, because I'm going to want to see it. I want to see and experience Flo interacting with Sonic. I can't imagine anyone who would insure Sonic because
It's kind of inferred. Just don't mind my juicy mouth. It's kind of inferred that he speeds a lot.
I don't know why. I'm just a slobbering mess this stream, but like, no, I know exactly why. My dad bought one of those like electronic neti pot things, and it's just like, oh, you know, with all the corona and everything, clean out everybody's sinuses, stay healthy. So I'm just there going. Tying back to the previous conversation about the Titanic. You know, if I ever wanted to know what it was like to drown, I just stay hooked up to that thing for a little bit. If I ever wanted the happy, fun time, interactive waterboarding experience, I'd, again, just plug into that thing for a few minutes and just... Greetings all, I bring tidings of a quest and a wine to come. I love Titanic. I'm okay with the movie. I haven't seen it in years, and admittedly, the last time I remember watching it, I was like that tall. We rented it after it had just come out, and we picked it up from the Middleburg Video, which I do believe is the exact... Excuse me. I never burp. Is the exact name of the store that we... I'm from Pennsylvania originally. But I believe the store we went to was called Middleburg Video, and I remember it had just come out, and it's like, oh, the Titanic, you know, that's... We'll check that out. Caleb, you like the Titanic. Dad was bored out of his skull. I know at some point his soul absconded from his body, and he was just waiting for it to end. Because if there is one thing my dad hates when it comes to movies, he hates romances. My dad is a guy who wants to see something blowing up and then blow up again, and some sort of like good action, a decent plot. But for the most part, once it takes a romantic kind of turn, just EXE has stopped working. Please, can Alt F4 close your dad. And once we discovered that the plot of Titanic was mainly the love story between what's-her-name and Jack, they were pretty much done with that. Mom was pretty into it, and admittedly, as a child, my attention span was like writhing on the floor, dying and bursting into flames. I love Victorian architecture, the Titanic, and his... Oh, God, Joey, stop relating to me right now so much. Same here. I love Victorian fashion. I love Victorian clothing. I love Victorian design. I occasionally go out in public in my Victorian clothing just because it looks nice and I'm a wacky goober. And that's how I do. Oh, Meg, Titanic equals reasons I'm afraid of the ocean. The second reason was Burger King foot lettuce. Excuse me. Oh, well, yeah, there he is. There is Sonic in Flo's office. I don't know how I'm supposed to respond to that information, but there it is. Thank you, Joey. Yeah, that is a link. Okay. Oh, God. I know this is silly, and I get distracted in all these streams, and I barely write. And I know at some point I should just like, hey, guys, stream canceled. I need a break to want to collect my thoughts and actually do some writing. But have you ever seen the version? I don't know if there's more than one of it, so you might, get a couple of them. But I know someone took the number 15 Burger King foot lettuce, the last thing you want to see in your Burger King burger, and they did that. But every word started with a B, so there's just Bumber 15, Burger Bing But Bettis. And they went through the whole thing just fluidly, and it helped that they were doing a spot-on impression of Chills. And it, for a second, I thought he had come back and redone the video as a joke after seeing how popular it got for a while. But just everything about the video, when it's just all... I don't know why. I don't know if I have the sense of humor of a literal child or not. But it just amused me to no end. Did you guys know that there is a Titanic 2, both ship and movie? Yes, I know, the wacky Australian dude who's trying... Like, and it annoys me, too. If I ever see him, I'm going to backhand his rich chin up to his rich forehead. Because, one primary reason that... Or, like, one facet about the Titanic I've always loved is it's steam-driven. The fastest... Like, the ship, the one ship that has gone the fastest on a voyage to and from America to England is a steam-powered ship, the SS United States. To this day, she holds the record. She was steam-powered. I like steam power. I'd like to imagine there's still a validity for steam power. And for whatever reason, one of the most beautiful steam-powered ships, one of the most beautiful examples of steam engineering, he just decides to convert it. The funnels are for show. Oh yeah, steam-powered giraffe. Like, I offer to start singing and doing little quotes, except for one, this is filmed and it will end up on YouTube, so there's a chance I will be judged. Two, I'm pretty sure there's water still in my nose, so I'm trying very hard not to leak from the... Yeah, no, I'm actually living Brasco. And what is this leaking affecting my nose? Does the oil that is dripping mean this is a cry? Yeah, I can't. I'm just sort of shouting now. All the shouting has ruined my voice, and there's water floating around in my head, so the last thing I should do is try and sing. About Jack. James Cameron, believe it or not, there was an actual Jack Dawson, but he was a coal shoveler down in the bottom of the ship. He's buried in Newfoundland. Oh yeah, the cleanup afterwards with the Titanic, with like how they were floating for a while afterwards. I don't envy those people who found them later. But you know, maybe one of these streams I'll do the unthinkable and decide to sing again. I remember the one, what was it, ages and ages ago, where I started doing Vera Lynn, or I ended doing Vera Lynn. But you know, too much screaming, too much in my throat from like all the spicy honey barbecue chicken lumps that I've been having. No, it is a perfect storm for not being able to sing, as my little recreation of brass goggles should have shown. That was weird belching sounding thunder outside. I should really look at a meteorology report, because we all know I am a manneredly Victorian gentleman who never burps in stream, ever. Oh Lord, it's stuck. Oh, never mind. We're good. We're good. We're fine. I do not have the fat sausage fingers of a walrus. I am a good lad who diets all the time and eats his spinach. I grew up with Popeye. I know where it's at. I know the spinach. Alright, the calm which blanketed the room. Okay. The calm which blanketed the room around Ted. Which is cool, man. Yeah, we're going to need some commas there, because people need to breathe. There's 2 H's in whoosh? I don't ask who's there, I ask who's there. English, you are confusing. Hang on, I am not nearly on enough or smart enough tonight to want to deal with this. I need to boost my intelligence with my handy dandy. If it's not obvious, I am a 95-year-old in a 29 or 28-year-old's body, then this should prove it. All right. Is the stream buffering or pausing for everyone else? Or no, I think it's just you, Joey, because if I recall correctly, you access the stream from work while you're on the clock at a phone store. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just don't. Don't do that. You're there to work. I appreciate it. Thank you. Donate money. But don't do that. Don't do that. Don't. Give me money. Don't. God, could you imagine if I had a Patreon or something? What kind of rewards could I promise? You too can watch me faff about for like 6 hours. I can if there's noon in the store. Because no one is 2 separate words, Joseph! We have a lot of downtime in a phone store. Filter room. What's the phone up? Tier 1, uncut footage of Caleb making sounds. Yeah, no, there's the roar. I'm just sitting in my recording studio out in the garage going... Just making all the weirdest noise. Tier 2 footage. Caleb drinking. Again, I can't offer that because you get that for free here in the stream. You get 1 and 2. Other than the first, like, sounds in an abstract concept. If you want me just out there going... I don't know what I could legitimately offer that I have not already put on display. 3, uncut laugh footage. Oh, Lord. I don't think you guys appreciate just how much it hurts to laugh when I get into those hysterical rips that you guys like so much. My laugh is a torturous curse, which is, like, I can't... It's a curse on so many levels because, one, I sound like if someone gave crack cocaine to James from Team Rocket. And at the same time, I'm aware of this fact so one, while I'm laughing, I know I'm laughing, which makes me laugh harder because I know it sounds utterly ridiculous. And 2, when I go to listen to the recording the second time around, since the laughter is so goofy and ridiculous, it makes me laugh again having heard it. So I can almost guarantee you that I am in a perpetual state of laughter anytime I'm exposed to recordings of my previous laughter, because it's just so stupid. Like, I can manage the civil, the polite. I'm in a social gathering. I am a very professional lad who ends all of his sentences with little periods, and I have a feather quill, you know. I am a respectable member of society with chest hair that goes down to his kneecaps. And then there's, like, when I find something just the funniest on the face of the earth, and I cannot stop it. There is not enough strength in this body to keep that laughter suppressed, and the second it goes flying out, I'm just done. I am undone, rather. I need this. You don't need them that bad. I can't breathe when I'm laughing like that. I'm pretty sure I cracked the sound barrier. When I met you... Yeah, for a second there, I thought we were having like some sort of like weird, I'm looking at you through your window situation. When I meet you, IRL, I will show you your recordings. Don't do that, because while hysterically laughing my death laugh, I'll probably aim for your throat and take you with me. No. No. That's not the end of a sentence. Through the calm channels. Right here, let me see. It fixed it. What fixed what? I'm genuinely confused, my sudsy friend. Oh God, don't tell me the stream's dying, please. Oh, please do not do the thing that I think you're going to do. No. I'm gonna have to open up that other file. Now I have wine. With it, I have a myriad of tasks to complete and world-building questions to ask. May I? Yes, you may, my friend. You may June, you September, you whatever you need to do. That joke's funny. I made it work. The stammering only helped the comedic effect. I don't know what you're talking about. Rate it 10 of 10. Please subscribe. Eat my friend. It doesn't help that I'm getting called periodically. Called by somebody who is super stressed delivering food.
Listen, where do you want these nuggets?
I just want to imagine that's the exact telephone call you're getting. In a fictional setting of your own design, is there a unique law of reality? Yes, there is. I've actually... Okay, so I believe... I want to say it was Arthur C. Clarke. I'm not sure. But they said sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. And being very, I guess, flighty, very purple prosy, very lofty with that understanding, I take that as a guiding principle when looking through the accomplishments of modern science. Specifically, there is no such thing as a science fact, only scientific theory that has not been disproven yet. We understand things based on trial and error, but variables can change. We can discover new things, new factors, new entities, new bodies, new rules, new whatever that's directly influencing what we're seeing. And to be honest, seriously, please, I will donate actual money. I will donate actual monies for a ton of sound clips. Oh, I bet 30,000 monies. Something eats him. But sorry, forgive me. Invader Zim fan from way back. But taking that understanding, I can sort of, I think, effectively suspend disbelief and at the same time explain or come up with different worldviews, because there's an area in modern science where the current understanding and one of the more popular ideas or theories or whatever you'd call it, or understandings, or I guess what they assume the reality is that the universe is constantly expanding at such a rate that eventually there'll be the heat death of the universe. Things will get so far away we'll never be able to explore the stars. All stars will turn into black holes, gobble up all the planets. Life is just this temporary thing, and for most of the universe's operational life, it's just going to be doom, death, destruction, and black holes and an empty void of nothingness, and woe is me, and gnashing of teeth. Like, I don't believe that the sum of creation is only there to be a drop in the bucket and is ultimately unimportant and will go nowhere. I don't believe it. I don't believe that in our hubris we can unlock the secrets of the universe from effectively standing on our porch going with comparatively primitive telescopes to the scope of the universe and nah, we got it, homie. We figured it out. We know everything from Earth right here. It's all going to expand. It's all going to go away. It's all pointless in the end. It's all stupid. We're all going to die. Life doesn't mean nothing. I hate it. I don't believe that. So, tying this back to your question, Mr. Quill, I have it that since the UCASC is so old and formed of different species, they have discovered new sciences, new theories, new scientific theories that haven't been disproven, new laws, new rules that they understand about the universe that fill in the blanks. In my mechanics, the universe moves in 4 dimensions, which I don't use the 4th dimension is time. A dimension isn't another plane of reality. Let's just make that straight right now. Just side tangent. I hate when people. He's from an alternate he's from an alternate dimension. He's from the bizarro dimension. A dimension is not a reality. A dimension is not a universe. A dimension is not us, but different. A dimension is how you move. There is no up, down, left, right, front, back. I chose to wear blue socks on Sunday. That's not how dimensions work. There can't be an alternate dimension unless you physically mean a different way you move in space. For mine, 4th dimensional movements are this weird spiraling corridor where the fabric of space that we can see as 3rd dimensional beings loops back on itself and is knitted into itself. For us, it looks like one thing is here, and then one thing's here, then suddenly teleports over here. It's a 4th dimensional movement in mine. So in my design here, my model, the universe is moving on a sway through 4th dimensional movements. It breathes and contracts. It stretches out. Oh no, everything's stretching away. We're doom and gloom. A few hundred years later, oh, it's back. It moves. It breathes. There's a pulse, a heartbeat in space. And I go even farther than that. I say that there's more to space, that it's layered, that our reality, our perceivable universe goes beyond our visual and detectable spectrum, more than dark matter, more things like that. It's like a fatty tissue. And if you punch underneath it, the curvature of space is not mirrored here. So you're dealing with something that's constantly stretching, constantly moving, constantly being pulled, which expands this. And anything punching into this is thrown so much faster than comparative how it would be moving through actual space. All the light resistance, all the mass resistance that slows you up from moving faster than the speed of light simply doesn't exist in this new dimension. You are flung faster than the speed of light based relatively on how fast you're going in. And I just try my best to make a world where there's so many different mechanics, and it's so hopeful, and it's so much more, it's so optimistic. It's training people not to think solely in doom and gloom terms and to accept potentially just pessimistic flights of fancy that'll ultimately be disproved later, leaving people with this lingering depression and concern that the universe is just going to die and ultimately there's nothing they can do that's any value. I throw that aside and try my hardest to wrap what limited brain power I have around the task of making something that's wholly unique to mine, so that the very nature of the universe itself is optimistic, so that you can get that feeling in my work. So to answer your question, yes, the more you can do, like even like something fundamental, something that you don't imagine would have any impact, if you can work it into your world and make something that's wholly unique to you, do it. Because I did, and I think that helps ultimately your work. And it's a small signature of what your space is like and what you want to impart upon the reader. It is not doom. It is not the heat death. It is not infinite expansion. It's not black holes and nothingness and unimportance that ultimately make us a blink in some unforgiving, unintelligent cosmic's eye. We are not just a flicker. I believe the spirit of mankind, the spirit of intelligent thought, the necessity of living beings is such that it not only needs to be, but it was demanded to be. That there is some greater purpose to it and some greater system in some level above the universe, that we understand it now, that opens up a whole different form of mechanics, a whole new hurdle for us to explore and to philosophize about and to build off of it, to learn, to know, to breathe, to experience, to live for. Not a promise of death and destruction in nothingness, of dark matter, of the erosion of stars and the weeping of the survivors in some failing starship in an ended cosmos. I refuse, I reject it at its core. And that was something when I was writing Infinity Quest from the very beginning that I wanted to get right. I wanted that to be a part here, that there was more mechanics to it. And I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I don't know everything about thermodynamics. I don't know every model about the existence of space. I don't know everything, but I can do my best to suspend people's disbelief, because faster than light travel, ridiculous. Then Star Trek dared to dream, and people are like, whoa, hey, in theory, if you could move space and warp, and like optimism inspires innovation. Pessimism breeds nihilism, breeds contempt for the world. May I share my explanation for my FTL travel in a sci-fi setting I am considering when you have finished? Go right ahead, my friend. Type it up for me. I look forward to seeing what you write, because you are not only creative, but you are brilliant. The floor is yours. I've ranted enough. Look Alive, Deck 5. I like that. Reminds me of Johnny 5. I love that movie. Okay, Look Alive, Deck 8. Yeah, no, I want to have that. Open up that other file. Oh, thank you, Johnny. Yes, Johnny, you are most certainly alive, and you are near and dear to my heart. That was one of my favorite movies growing up. And who's Johnny? Who's that? She smiled in her special way. Who's Johnny? I said I wasn't going to sing, but the music is too strong in me. Too bad I blew out my throat, and it sounds a little kind of poopy. Technically, nothing can travel. That we know of. Again, science is just a collection of quaint, novel theories that we have that have not been disproven yet. Wouldn't you like to be a pepper too? Ah, the quotes! Thank you all so much. Technically, nothing can travel faster than the speed of light. If you tried to move faster than the speed of light, or even get close to that speed, you would need more... No, energy, not mass. The more mass needs more energy to burn. Now, bending space and time. Yes, okay. The universe, even intelligent life, is the result of a contest between the two. That sounds interesting. What about the theory that everything changes when observed? Oh, yes. That wasn't spatial relativity. What was that? That was... I think it was a paradox with Einstein, Rosen, and Podolsky, I think. I know I've mentioned it before. No, wait, no, that's excuse me. That's quantum theory. The yeah, you observe it and it locks one into one state and the other is yeah. I remember that. Yes, brain. Yeah. Right. Okay, here we go. Deck 8. Engineering B. Deck Sports, bottom floor with the primary. Waste disposal! That's what I wanted it going through. Waste disposal. Due to the connection of all things to these respective planes, accessing one dimension. Dova, we're going to have words and some hands is going to throw. Or another may allow for FTL jumps from points of being. One dimension or another. That's that's interesting. And no, joking aside, I think you've used that correct. That's just one thing that bothers me because almost no one uses the word right. It's like going back to the 80s or the early 90s and someone went, yeah, let's just have a computer nerd character. And it's just like, oh, wow, it's a double encrypted helix causing my computer or causing the network server to overload. And it's just like, salad of the mouth that murders me. Yeah, no, I remember, and you know, this isn't a good. Oh yeah, technobabble to the highest degree, or like, oh god, I have Ethan. Ethan does this. My editor. Excuse me, itching nose. I'm gonna have to tear it off. But like, I can tell he's going to school to learn art, and I can tell. Like, he hangs out with people who have been doing art for much longer than him, and I know he wants to be a part of the conversation, and he doesn't want to seem like a dumb guy. No one wants to be the weak link in a chain. But, like, he has something that I call Ethan Babble, where in order to sound like he's a part of the conversation, Ethan will take and just make up as many, like, he'll just regurgitate as many art words as he does and be as confusing as physically possible, so that it feels like you're the Dumbo and you don't know what he's talking about with the art program. Like, yeah, no, I just learned the rotoscoping of the hue capacity with the pressure sensitivity on a rotoscope brush. I learned the hue overlay. Yeah, that's the Ethan. That is the exact Ethan, Joey. He has this thing where he's like, oh yeah, no, the canvas values of the line tool's rotoscoping capability with the inverse coloring on a multiply layer, it really has given me trouble. Or no, I've really learned to, like, I think I finally figured that out, and it's just like, Ethan, I think I'm having a stroke. Like, It makes no sense whatsoever. Okay, let's see. The realm of creation being is manifested by both energy and matter, and the realm of entropy void is manifest as the emptiness of space and the degradation of all things. Ooh, Quill, I'm really loving what you're putting down here. I want to talk to you about space and physics. I want to talk about space and physics if you want. I'm interested in talking with you about that. Error 44. That's just awesome. Yeah, no, like he did a background today that like it shows he's getting better and he has a better understanding of light. Good for you. You practice it, you learn it, you know it. But at the same point in time, I am never going to forget the hex code of the image resizing tool for the canvas's paint value with mass spectrometer. You know, it's a unique sort of, like, you can do it too if you want to make your friends feel like they're having some sort of existential crisis. Just think of a topic, think of every word you've ever learned regarding that topic, whether it makes sense or not, and try to fit them all in a sentence. Like, the less sense you make, the better. Like, oh yeah, no, I just got this new job at McDonald's and I've just learned the fry to heat ratio of the grease fry cook machine with the microwaves intervals of drink dispensing, and it's kind of hard to get down for some new people. You know, you know, like, there's nothing you can say than just, you know, sigh, shake your head. It's amazing. And Joey, I'm going to have to ask we watch the mouth a little. Well, I don't have all the mechanics worked out. The realm of creation and being will be responsible for the spark of sapient life, including the eventuality of synthetic life. Moreover, hive minds will have a strong communal connection to that realm. Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. It's okay, Joey. But yeah, no, Quill, I think you've got a very unique bit of physics there, and I like the idea of more than just the universe. Like the universe being just the canvas, and there's other actors here or forces of nature having a direct influence on that. I like that. That's a cool concept. Again, the more you can do to further the idea of there's more to see than what we've seen, and to break this humdrum, woe is me, melancholic malaise that we've already, again, from Earth, just looking up at the sky with our telescopes. From Earth, we've already discovered all the mechanics of the universe, all the theories, all the mechanics, and we know exactly what's going to happen. And this much is inevitable, and the universe is going to end with a whimper. You know, Neil deGrasse Tyson. Don't like it. It's not going to end with a roar, but rather a whimper. It's going to get cold. It's going to get real cold. The universe is going to die. Death, gloom, yeah, dead by dawn. You know, no. And putting that out there, as a scientist and public figure, putting something out there like that's so openly depressive, with people out there that you know have mental conditions and access to the internet, with people who suffer from depression, in an information age where people are constantly invading your privacy, constantly looking into your information, constantly making you have to produce more and more and more under the threat and fear of, well, if I don't, my peers will surge ahead of me and I will be forgotten and left alone. In a world where that is pressing and anxiety is through the roof, what two malfunctioning neurons did you grab onto and rub together to say, I should tell him the universe is gonna die? What scientist started that deserves a firm backhand to the side of the head. It should have been prefaced and contextualized until other discovery, until this theory is proven wrong. Like, it should be downplayed and mitigated as just a theory, instead of pompously, in our own self-obsessions, being portrayed as the end-all, be-all of scientific understanding. That this is, until proven wrong, we're pointless. I despise and resent that, and I think it's socially irresponsible to say things like that in front of people. How dare you? Let me swallow that back down a little bit. Moreover, all commercial FTL travel, all interstellar societies will be based around utilizing this unique realm of being to... Now, I have a question for you, Quill. Is there substance in these two realities, with the creation and being, and then entropy and decay? Can you bring stuff back from there? Is it like a pocket dimension? I hate that term too. A pocket reality where just space is different and there's mass there? Is it like fluidic space from Voyager? Is it something that you're not conscious for? Is it not something you can tell? Can you simply fall into it? Go into a little bit more detail with that. I'd love to know more about this idea that you have. Is there fruit? Are there barnacles? Are there organisms that can latch onto a hull if you're not careful? Is there restoration effects for taking your ship through creation space? Coyote has a pocket reality for snacks. Dimension, again, movement. I'm going to have a complex by the end of the stream. Yes, they float about aimlessly. Oh God, pretty much like the Judge Dredd retirement program, where it's just, oh, the long walk. What kind of crappy deal would that be, by the way? I've given my best years of service to patrolling Mega City 1 and keeping everything safe. Now, for a relaxing downtime, I'm just going to walk around nuclear waste for a little bit and die in the sand. Job well done. Alright. Hey, Juicy, based on your IDA of multiple, that was Quill's idea. Multiple realities. Do you think that could explain the Mandela effect? Oh, the Mandela effect is fun, but realistically looking at it, it's just a case of forgetting information and just the ultimate expression of misinformation accumulating a worldview contrary to that of reality. Because even as children, we've discovered that in games of telephone, simple altering of information changes a story immensely. And with the internet, you can only accelerate that spread of misinformation. So if there is something that's verifiably proven wrong, if something didn't happen, but you tell enough people that it did and they just believe you on face value, and they pass on that information, and they pass on that information, and that stays in a cultural memory for long enough, I think that's basically the Mandela effect. Like the Bernstein Bears, I am almost positive that is the existence of like a different reality, because I am positive. But at the same point in time, I think it might have just been we remember pronouncing it wrong as kids, or like a recording pronouncing it wrong. Okay. I have a question. Is the definition of parallel planes universes so fixed that two can't be parallel without being exactly parallel? No. I think the term alternate works as well, to the point of geographical features being exactly alike. No, like, again, there are so many minor details in, like, just a self, a person, that any number of circumstances changing would fundamentally, like, that's one of the reasons I don't think cloning will ever be like exact, like, oh my god, they're a perfect duplicate. Whatever they go through in life will ultimately deeply affect the person they are, no matter how similar they are to you. The thought process will be different. It will never be 100% exact. So any alternate world, I think you have creative leeway with that, and you could easily explain it as such. Alright, and Quill Dragon, not quite. You can bring manifestations of this realm into it, but you need to utilize the most pure manifestations of it. A kind of entropy-defying substance that would be named mana. Oh, I love ya! It is a Hebrew word, yes I know, biblical boy, that summarizes the question, what is it? Well, I was curious as to Caleb's answer also. Alright, Joey, what about the pics and photos of Stein and Stain on the show? The pic. Misprints. Misprints are common enough. Just look at the 1980s Transformers. I love that. And there are some episodes, like you know that Bumblebee is supposed to be smaller than most of the other Transformers. That doesn't stop the animators from still screwing up and drawing him 3 times the size of Grimlock on occasion. You know, it's simple errors, simple printing press errors. It could be just a matter of misprints and people exposed to that and just people remembering it wrong. I know I didn't go to school in the most well-funded school, so a lot of that stuff probably sells for cheap and it's exposed to children, and then that's just how they learn it. So when they learn that it's wrong, they got a misprint. Whoopsie doodle! The universe is coming unraveled because I know for a fact it was a different way. I hope cloning doesn't happen. I don't think playing God is a good idea. It usually never. Oh, Lord, what is Jacob sending me? Oh, boy, a YouTube link. Yay! Let's get demonetized. I don't get money on these. I still have people copyright claiming me. Like, I don't make a cent on these. I still have people copyright claiming me. Animal Crossing. Isabella. Oh, you sweet baboo. I wish. If for no other reason, I want to play Animal Crossing for Isabella, because I've seen one too many things being nasty and calling her a communist, or trying to say that she hates her job, or she's super stressed out and unhappy. She is a pure little Shih Tzu who is too good for this world. And knowing Jacob, I know exactly what she's going to be singing. Bring it on. Oh, okay. This one. All right. Yep. Okay, I can get into that. I don't see how this ties into the other conversation, but I am happy for its inclusion. I better stop that because I know I'm going to get slammed with another copyright claim, because Nintendo don't take that guff from nobody. This is the protectorate spirit animal. Yes, it does. And if one day you ever put that information out into the public eye, I will be more than happy to talk about that in length and share it with everybody. In my universes, cloning is usually a horrible idea. At best, it's very temporary. Yeah, I think it would be very temporary too, until they splinter off wildly. If you're getting copyright claimed, I should be sued out of the rear because of the music I play on my streams. I don't know. I guess YouTube is just very broken. That might be shock and news to some people. YouTube might be a little broken. Bubblegum is one of my favorites. Yeah, no, it's one of my favorites too. In this setting, humanity discovers mana in the Kuiper Belt. Okay, Kuiper Belt. They are able to discover psychedelic effects on living creatures far out. However, it can be used on inanimate objects. This is how AI are accidentally created. Ooh, I had a similar idea for a sort of cartoony furry thing where I just had magic ink being used, where they discovered vats of this strange black liquid substance in the planet of Velos Concordia, where I said all this stuff, and they're like, oh, this isn't oil, what's this? And the more you exposed creatures to this weird odd ink, the more living they got, the more animated and toony they got, ranging from sentient ferals to realistic anthros to just absolute toons. It was fun. It is though. They're so precious and wholesome. The Protectorate, I mean. Yes, they are. YouTube, I was talking about Picarto. Yeah, no, I stream on Picarto too, but I'm recording this with OBS. And then I put all this unedited footage on YouTube because I don't think my computer could handle much editing these 3-hour jaunts into insanity. There's a sort of AI in my universes, at least in 2 of them, but they're not technological in the least as far as construction. Yes, I do believe I know what you are talking about. So golems, interstellar drugs. Tell that to a hippie in the 60s, they would lose their minds. I don't need to. I've watched the classic Star Trek, Joey. Yes. Yeah, where hippies literally took over the Enterprise. Kirk, really? Really? Why does no one guard auxiliary control room? Why? How many times? How many, like, if I had an editor who would go over this many times the original Enterprise has been taken over because someone waddled in to it. No, you know what? I'm going to Google it. 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 Googly. Okay. How many times was the USS Enterprise taken over from the auxiliary control room? Yeah, come on, show me. Okay, I expected like it to have an answer immediately. I'm not going to load memory alpha. That's going to tank my computer. Let me scroll up here. I've missed some important things. So golems, yes, but there are two different varieties as far as how they attain sentience. And Quill is talking about his universe. In its infancies, it both helps and harms its creators, ultimately killing them. It is then left in the isolation of the Kuiper Belt. Mankind now spreads throughout the solar system, has an emergence meeting to determine an appropriate response. That's cool. Katie says both essentially exclusive to their respective universe in talking of the formation of the AI in her setting. Jacob decides to get on my nerves. I'm not even going to read his question about can hippies take control of the Defender. No! Katie, hippie invaders, get the fire hoses. Joey says, I can see Juicy killing me for this, but I've never... Oh, okay, yeah, no, your wish is my command, Space Cadet. I'm setting this to its maximum setting. I hope you are a smoldering just set of boots on the ground. Always keep it on stun. Excessive compulsive tendencies coming through in mass. They could try to destroy it, earning a permanent enemy if they failed. On the other hand, they could attempt to reconcile, but they could also achieve a permanent enemy the second they introduce themselves. But they could risk making themselves vulnerable. A troubled 21st and 22nd century have taught mankind to act with more caution and more foresight. Not bad. Katie, you're not alone, Joey. I've never watched the entire show. Just tell me you've watched some of it and you can avoid a phaser death yourself. Please, Katie. Have you guys heard of Ark Survival Evolved? Yes, I have. I want to play that game so bad, but all of my computers are potatoes. You've just killed your whole... No, I don't put it on wide beam. I didn't just call up the Enterprise or the thing I'd like to film. If we're going to call back to the Star Trek stream, I shipped the Bounty. Never played Star Trek Online either. You know what? Rewind. Star Trek Discovery is literally a hemorrhoid on screen. I hate it. I don't care how big or small its fan base is. But I'd love to have like a TAS history with Star Trek Online. I'd love to have a Bonaventure class just sailing around through space with this little knobbly pug-looking saucer section and this big chonky nacelles with this little upside-down submarine body. I'd love to fly around in that version of the Bonaventure. Not the one that whoever it is that makes all the Star Trek models, the 5-inch toys that just sit around. It looks okay. That's not the Bonaventure. No. I'd love that. But yeah, no, I didn't call for an airstrike from a starship. That was a single phaser. It was an elegant weapon. Don't let Ben Kenobi tell you otherwise. Dude, I keep my overall attitude to stun. Okay, let me. I keep my overall attitude on stun when at work all the time. Yeah. Isn't that the game set in like Eternal Winter? I'm not exactly fluent on a lot of the most recent games. What's Eternal Winter? After a stirring speech from a charismatic leader, he and a small crew personally risked their lives to welcome the AI to the universe. They make a peaceful contact and learn that it has reproduced. That's cool. I like that. And then a partnership is formed, which eventually leads to mankind developing FTL. That's nice, and that's a good way to keep the story interesting before we move on to grand space opera, where we're traveling and traversing solar systems. That's good on you, Quill. See, innovation, creative audiences. That's something that are creative individuals, artists, putting their heart and soul into work and coming up with new ideas. That's something severely lacking in Hollywood now. We need people like you and Jacob, and I'd like to think to a lesser extent me, making new shows and new ideas and just trying something that isn't the norm, isn't the bog standard, isn't the 3-act script of storytelling, isn't the same message pushing drivel that they've turned Doctor Who into. They need new things like this. That's creative and original and fun, and I know audiences would be receptive to it because despite their nihilistic view of the world, well, people are just animals, they're just mindless consumers. And if I give them a plate of crap and I put Leonardo DiCaprio or some new face in it, they'll eat it. We want new things. They don't want to think about things. Wrong. We like new ideas. We like getting nerdy. We're nerds. No matter how cool you are, you're a nerd. For one thing or another, there is something you nerd out over. There's small details you like, and there's one bit of fiction, one little detail, one little aspect of something that you really like to look into, and I think I've blown my voice out. Okay, here's a question for you, Caleb. The last show you watched, or the last book you read, or the last game you played is now crossed with your verse. How well does it go? Okay, thankfully I did not just tear my sock. The last thing I watched would probably change history because it's just been... Oh no. Okay, let's see. The last thing I read, last thing I played, well, the last thing I read was this while I was writing this, so it's just Infinity Quest meet Infinity Quest. Here you go. Yo, dog, I heard you liked Infinity Quest, so we put Infinity Quest on your Infinity Quest. It would probably be Markiplier's playthrough of 7 Days to Die, the most recent one where at the last minute they found guns, so it would probably go very bad because zombies. Or if you don't have your own verse, it crosses with each other. How well does it go? That would be... I'm fighting along with Sonic kicking Robot. I'd say it'd go over pretty well, seeing as how two of my universes are not at all at odds with ideas of magic, prehistoric lifestyle, and hunters and gatherers, and working together to survive. Ooh, explain enigmatic. However, mankind is eventually introduced to two galactic powers, the Gathering. I like the Gathering too, Quill. I play the Gathering. We'd be in good company, Quill. The Gathering, an expansive hive mind which spans from galactic rim to core. Sounds about right. The other is a federation-like government of similar size. Humanity is sandwiched in the middle. So hive mind to the left of me, feds to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle of space. Well, Jacob, one of my universes involves a planet that suffers such extreme winters that even the hardiest of civilized races can be frozen solid, and therefore stocking enough food is a major deal. Meanwhile, the Megarians skinny dip because it's their kind of weather. What about Yu-Gi-Oh? Right. I was more curious with the prehistoric lifestyle verse. Anyway, it's getting late, and I'm pretty sure my throat is dead. Caleb's got a nice song. It would be nicer if I didn't blow my throat out with all the at the earlier parts of the stream. So, I'd like to bid you all adieu, and remember, never forget these words. Keep a kind state of mind and your dream in your heart. Only you are the one who can get you to where you're going. Wherever your goal is, keep steadfast in your beliefs. Keep steadfast in your belief of yourself. Listen to your friends when they remind you that you're not as bad as you say you are. The little flaws, the little bumps and bruises, the little errors are nothing in the grand scheme of things, because you will get better. There's a bright future ahead of you, and if you keep at it, keep going, keep pressing on that picture, that writing, that song, that dance routine, that sandwich, whatever it is you are looking to do in life. Stick with it and believe in yourself. Stay open to others. Don't learn to hate your fellow man. Love the people around you. Stay kind and decent and forthright. And I know through my belief in you that you'll get to where you want to go in life. See you next Wednesday, guys. It's always fun. Until then, I bid you all adieu, and in lieu of the current conversation, almost flubbed that line, my friends, live long and prosper.